Well, Musa Okwonga writes on race and politics for The Guardian and the Byline Times, and he joins me now via Skype from Berlin. Musa, good to have you on DW. Now, you were at the protest yesterday in Berlin and you tweeted, "Very well attended, and the speeches had a depth of fury I have never heard before. This felt new." Does that mean the response to George Floyd's death represents a kind of a turning point?
I think this is new, and I think it's not just the death of George Floyd. I think in the last few weeks you've seen the murders of Breonna Taylor by police, Tony McDade and Ahmaud Arbery. And if you look at it from that perspective, even though we've got coronavirus right now, you could argue that the police killing of black people is actually a parallel pandemic.
Right, and what does the significance of George Floyd's death and others in police custody have for people outside the US, for example, here in Germany or in Britain, where you're from?
It reminds us that the persecution of black people at police hands is actually an international phenomenon. You know, in 2005, Ori Jallo died in a police cell in Dessau, and that case still hasn't been resolved satisfactorily. There was no independent investigation. Smiley Culture, a very popular musician in Britain, was killed by police. That's never been fully explained. And so whenever we see a black person die at police hands, it reminds us only to stick another pin in the map and remind us, unfortunately, this is a global phenomenon.
What about you personally? How has Floyd's death and the events unfolding been affecting you?
I'm angry. I watched the video, I watched the life being choked from Floyd, and I think this is the time for no compromise. I think it's the time no longer for kumbaya, it's the time no longer congratulate people for turning out to these rallies and say we'll support the black community. It's about actually challenging racism wherever they see it, in their most intimate settings, at their dinner tables, in their WhatsApp groups, in their workplaces, at their golf clubs, wherever they find racism. It's to challenge racism when black people are nowhere near the confrontational conversation. That is now the work that has to be done to resolve this problem.
Musa Okwonga, writer on politics and race, thank you very much for sharing your view.
Thank you.